Hello, my name is Ethan Hansa, and today I'll be talking to you about cognitive dissonance theory. As my colleagues have already brought to you what cognitive dissonance theory is, how it positively affects humans, and how it negatively affects humans, I will be bringing you the neutrality of cognitive dissonance theory. Not affected by positive bias nor negative bias, but simply a base look at the effects of cognitive dissonance theory, or lack thereof. Now, humans have a desire for consistency, and without this desire of consistency, there's a lot of cognitive dissonance that can happen, because humans crave an understanding of the world, as Leon Festinger points out. Now, because we're all dumb little humans, we try to get away from cognitive dissonance in whatever way we can. There are three main ways that humans do this: religion, science, and nihilism. All of these are human attempts to understand their reality in order to have some sort of semblance of control. Now, believers in religion will often place out the cognitive dissonance trouble to some deity, where the entire understanding of their reality is solely based on their belief in this deity. And any trouble they have with cognitive dissonance can simply be externalized as some supernatural act of said deity. Religion also sets up a set of rules by which people will follow and then not have to worry about cognitive dissonance in the future. No conflict of choice whenever the rules are laid out for you. Believers in science, well, this is not the best picture. There we go. Believers in science, or rather people who are loyal to the objective nature of the scientific method, also use the same exact sort of pathway in order to avoid cognitive dissonance. Realizing how the scientific method works and how they can understand reality through pathways of understanding through science is a way to avoid cognitive dissonance, as Weckland and Bram set out. In a way, science is almost like a deity for some, so they can understand what's going on, because they'll simply externalize it into some unknown process of science. Now, nihilists, however, simply do not care. They're not using their belief, or lack thereof, to escape cognitive dissonance. They're just so incredibly apathetic that they could not care less about cognitive dissonance. They simply let it pass them by and say that it is not worth their time. Now, cognitive dissonance has many effects on humans. Particularly, college students were given the cognitive dissonance of being forced to choose in between two different ideas they did not agree with to argue for. This causes much cognitive dissonance. And it has a very visceral reaction in the brain, specifically in the anterior cingulate cortex and the frontal left cortex, pictured here. Now, with these, they also cause a whirling of emotions, particularly anger. If this anger does not give the subject any semblance of sovereignty over the issue, it causes more and more emotions, and this leads to a stage of rationalization. If that rationalization heeds no results, then it causes the emotions to spiral into horrible areas, causing many disorders, such as major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder, generally known as depression, anxiety, and PTSD. As Hall states, PTSD can be caused from just a single whirlwind of cognitive dissonance with a negative source, very easily, but only in a basic form. But even basic PTSD is horrible and dangerous. So, as you've seen from my colleagues and myself, cognitive dissonance is very serious and has potential for a lot of danger, even in a very pragmatic sense. So be careful as to what you believe, how you believe, and what you choose in between what you believe. Thank you for your time.